go. Welcome to the OST. Welcome to the OST, the Opinionated Sports Talk Show with your boy Brian. The Opinionated Sports Talk Show is debate, dispute, controversy. How's everybody doing on this Monday? We are live on Facebook, on Spreaker.com/OST show. Give me 1 second, because you know what I got to do. I got to go and share these to all the lovely groups that allow me to share this in the groups. Oops, I actually shared it twice. That's all right. We're going to talk a little bit about baseball. I'm going to talk football, a lot of football. I don't have any real basketball going on right now. But I'm just give me a second here. 1 second. You know what I got to do. Got to share it to the groups. All right, we're good. Welcome to the OST. Like I said, the Opinionated Sports Talk Show. Find us on Spotify, iHeart, and Apple Podcast. I had to give a little bit of love to the Oaklnad A's. You know, I'm a San Francisco guy, born and raised San Francisco. The A's, of course, across the Bay, swept the Giants back in '89, the Battle of the Bay. But I'm really surprised how good they're playing ball. You know, they don't got big names. They don't got the Albert Pujols or the Gino Carlos Stanton. They don't got Aaron Judge. They don't got these big name players. They just do it with fundamental baseball. And I was really surprised that they were tied for first place. And you know, when I heard it that they were tied for first place, they reached first place, I was kind of surprised that they got that far. And I started looking at things. Of course, you know, I gotta follow up and how did they get in first place and all that stuff. So it's just this weekend they played the Houston Astros, which I was really surprised because Houston Astros are a very strong team. They got phenomenal pitching. But then I looked into the numbers of the Oaklnad A's. The A's are 5th in the AL in home runs, which really surprised me. They're 6th in the AL in ERA. They're 4th in the AL in shutouts. They're only a game out of first place now. They're 74 and 50, which is really surprising. If you look at the last 3 series that they had against divisional players, Astros, Mariners, and Angels, they've won all those series. They've won them all 2-3. They're all 3-game series. They all won them 2-3. They've won 6 of their last 9. They beat all divisional games, which is an important thing. If you win inside your division, it's a very accomplished thing to do in all of sports. In football, baseball, basketball, you win inside your division, it really helps you out there. So I was just kind of paying attention to how they got there. I was actually surprised when I heard it on the radio that the A's were in first place and how they won. Give me a second here. I'm trying to do a little on Facebook in here, so give me 1 second. On a podcast side, I'm sorry, you guys cannot see what I'm doing unless you go to on Facebook. You watch it on the Facebook Live. So the Oaklnad A's, they played a 3-game series against Houston over the weekend. It was like a playoff atmosphere kind of game. It really was. I didn't watch the game, but from what I read and from the A's fans that I've talked to, it was a real like the AL West division was on the line. Oakland won the first 2 games, which created the tie going into Sunday, and including one of their wins as being the 10-inning dramatic come-from-behind victory on Friday. And the A's beat Dallas. How do you say his name? Kuchel? I'm sorry, but you know me and my names. I have a pronunciation thing. And Trevor Cahill absolutely dominated the game. It's really surprised how the A's are in first place. They play very fundamentally sound baseball. They are 5th in the AL in home runs, but they're not known. Then, like I said, they don't have huge stars on their team. You never hear of who's on their team, you know, in the top 10 of averages or home runs or RBIs. Their pitching staff, other than Trevor Cahill, you don't really know about. Unless you're from the Bay Area or you're an A's fan, then you would know. Which, you know, they got the Verlander. They beat Dallas, and they played really good baseball. And I got to give them props for being, making first place. I was surprised. I didn't know that they were playing this well of baseball. Now, are they for real? I think they're young enough. I think Billy Bean and that Moneyball thing is getting kind of played out a little bit old, but because it's all about in systems now, right now. I got a blurry face, he said. Looks good on my phone. So, I don't know. I can't see. Oh, maybe because my camera's kind of far away there, but I'm being told I got a blurry face. Maybe that's just me all the time. Maybe I just have a blurry face all the time. So, like I was saying, A's playing really good. They play fundamentally sound baseball. They do everything the way baseball is supposed to be played, kind of way. Are they for real? Can they hold on to this? Personally, I don't. I really don't. I can't tell you if they are or not, but I'm gonna give you my opinion. And I think that the way they're playing now, since June. Oh, I see what's wrong. How the screen gets messed up on the phone. I see it. How they're playing now. If they can win their division games, if they can stay close, and they can get into the playoffs, they have a very good chance, because it's all about, I've said this before in baseball, not always the best team wins. It's a team that has momentum, teams that's on a roll, timely hits, solid defense. Those kind of win games. So I just think that the A's can compete if they stick together. What I mean by that, not just, of course, being the unified team that they are, but if they stick together by playing with the chemistry that they have. And I've said this before, chemistry in sports, you may not have all of the best players. You get the momentum in the playoff season, late in the season. You have good chemistry on the team. You have good coaching, solid defense. You'll win a lot more games. You're actually surprised. You'll be surprised. But I'm giving love to the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's, playing very good baseball. I have some stats here. Let's see what I want here. Through July, no, wrong stat. I'm kind of off my rocker, ain't I, today? But shout out to the A's, man. At least one Bay Area team's doing good. Giants, I don't know, but we'll see how they hold on to this, if they can continue this great playing baseball they do. Like I said, they play very fundamental baseball. They have good chemistry. They have good coaching. They have good management behind them. And pitchers like Trevor Cahill, they love pitching in Oakland. Why wouldn't you want to pitch in Oakland? And one good stat that I tell you, I know, the A's are 51-0 when leading after 7 innings. They have the best record in baseball when they're leading after 7 innings. That bullpen of Oakland has been absolutely lights out all season long. So, like I said, chemistry, fundamentally sound baseball, good defense. You have a good, strong bullpen. You can win a lot of games. But will they be able to can they hang with the team like the Yankees in the playoffs, like the best best team with the best record in baseball, which is the Boston Red Sox in a playoff game? And like in baseball, you play those 5-7 game series. That's why I like football a little bit more, because it's one and done. You have one bad game, you're out. You can win, you can lose, but you can still have the momentum. And in a 5-game series, a 7-game series, you can still win those series. But can they beat the Yankees and Red Sox in 4 out of 7 times? That will be the question for them to see. I'm getting messed up again. I'm looking at my phone and my, just internet connections, the way of Wi-Fi. Sorry, guys. Just the way it is. I always prepare for the show. I always tell you what I'm going to talk about a few days ahead. And, of course, late news pops up. I'll get into that. But literally minutes before the show, minutes before I was preparing for the show, I had all my notes. I was literally, man, my thing is really screwed up. Look at that. Look at my phone. If you guys can't see it, it's blurry. Yeah, no, man, it's no, I'm not in Alabama, man. San Francisco. Well, sorry, it's just the way of the technology. I got a blurry screen, but at least you can still hear my voice and still talk about sport. Literally, right minutes before the show, I was going all over my notes. I was, going over my head what I was going to talk about, what I was going to say, trying not to forget anything. And I came across the AP the AT preseason poll for college football, and I started to read it, and I started to get into it because I haven't done a college football thing, but I am going to do a college show, and anybody knows that I'm really not. I'm from San Francisco. I'm from the West Coast. I don't really have an undying loyalty to a college team, so to say. I'm more into. I like the Pac-12. I like all the teams in the Pac. I like USC. I like Oregon. I like Washington. I'm more of a conference kind of guy. But I started reading over the AP poll, preseason poll. Alabama will begin the preseason also begin the season with the rare chance of doing a three-peat, which would be remarkable. I got to, when I hear someone being good, I hear a team being good, I kind of like step back and I want to know why, like what happened. Is it really Nick Saban? Is he really that good of a recruiter? Does he get these great players? What is he doing correctly? And obviously, Nick Saban is a good coach. There are good coaches in college level, and there's good coaches in high school level, and there's good coaches in pro level. It's really hard to succeed in all of them. Nick Saban obviously didn't succeed in the NFL. He coached the Miami Dolphins, and he didn't coach very well. Went back down to college and absolutely has destroyed college football since day one. The Crimson Tide are the second team to be ranked number one in the preseason for 3 straight seasons, and Clemson they got 42 of the 61 votes. Clemson received 18 first place votes. Georgia was at number 3, Wisconsin at 4, and Ohio State was ranked number 5. Damn, this screen is messed up, man. Is it my connection here? What is going on? I need to hire a videography guy there, but I guess you guys can't see me. But find me on Spotify if you want to hear the show on the podcast site, iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts. It's really messed up. But will Alabama do a three-peat? In all of sports, it's very hard to repeat. You get the World Series, you get the Super Bowl, you get the national championship hangover. A three-peat is almost unheard of. It's very rare in a lot of sports. You don't see it much. Man, this screen is messed up. My computer is jacked. You can't see me at all. You can't see me. Thinking about restarting, but no, it's all right. Sorry about this picture. I can't do nothing about it. It's just good old, technology and the way it works. What am I going to do? It's pixelated. I look like the cartoon characters and stuff. But Alabama has won 5 straight national championships since 2009 and has been the number 1 seed to start the season 5 times under Nick Saban. 5 times have been started the season at the number 1 seed. Last season was the first time in Saban's coaching career with Alabama has he started the season at number 1 and finished the season at number 1. College football, I love college football, and it's very, the tide shifts so well. I'm not 100% on board with the BCS playoff system. I'm not on board 100% on the rankings and how it works all the time. There's always some sort of discrepancy, especially when it comes to the playoffs. I still think when I talk about college football next week, they should really expand the playoffs in college football. Man, you guys can't see anything. I am completely gone. So let me do something real fast here. So a three-peat, but is very tough. I believe Nick Saban, if anybody can do it, Nick Saban can do it. Let me see if I need to start this over. I should start this over, man. I'm thinking about restarting the video over, but then you guys... Oh, yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. All right, let's just end this. I'm going to end the Facebook Live and do it again because, but I'll keep talking on the podcast side. Doing a three-peat, Nick Saban has absolutely been killing it. Like I said, he has been, what was it? Alabama has won 5 straight national championships since 2009. And 2009, where are my notes here? I got my notes here. 2009, and have been number 1 to start the season 5 times under Saban, which is really impressive if you ask me. Stay with me on the podcast side, guys. I apologize. I'm having some serious technical difficulties going on here, and it's kind of disturbing. I need to get an upgrade on stuff, man. I'm starting my video over. Let's do this again on the Facebook side. So I gotta do the intros over. Hey, welcome to the OST again on Facebook. I hate to do that to you guys, but I have to do it over because I'm having technical difficulties. The video was really messed up, so I restarted it all. Let me do something here. I know the podcast side has got to be frustrating because I'm talking about this other stuff and you guys can't even see it, but just hang in there. I'm going to get back to what I was talking about before I had to restart my video. All right, we're back. I hope my video's a little better than it was. I had to restart it. Let me invite some of my friends on Facebook here again because it got all messed up. But we were talking about college football and the rankings that came out. Nick Saban has absolutely been... I don't know if it's a system that he runs. I don't know what he's doing in Alabama, if he's recruiting very well. But they've come out of the gate every year. They've won championship after championship, and they have been an incredible team. Like I said, they have. Excuse me there. Alabama has won 5 national title championships since 2009 and have been number 1 to start the season 5 times under Nick Saban. And last season was the first time under Nick Saban that they've started number 1, ended number 1. Alabama's defense should be very good with Damian Harris and, running that ball in that backfield. They're having a little bit of a quarterback controversy now. They don't know if they should go with Tua or Jalen Hurts. But either one of those quarterbacks, I'm not a big Hurts fan. I think he's a good how do you say it? He just runs the offense very well, very effective. But he's not a thrower. I think Tua's a better quarterback, more skilled thrower. He's more accurate. He may not have the legs of Jalen Hurts, but Alabama's defense has always been their key to success. They've lost some players, but they have they have new starters in the secondary, but that linebacking core that Alabama has been solid. So I found that interesting that what did I write down here, right? The Tide, Alabama Crimson Tide, the second team to be ranked number 1 in the preseason Associated Press poll for 3 straight seasons. They got 42 out of 61 votes. That was pretty remarkable there. Pretty remarkable. There you guys, going to find out on Spotify, iHeart, and Apple Podcast. I got a lot of football. I just wanted to give I know the Facebook started a little late because I had technical difficulties with the camera. I always do. You know, what are you going to do with technology, right? Something going on in the NFL that's been happening since 2016. And I'm not tired of it. I don't mind talking about it. I actually enjoy it because I get to educate some pretty naive people and people that in high positions, presidents, all this stuff. They seem to lose track of what they do. Yeah, the A's are one game back of first place right now, but they were tied for first at one time. Yes, you're absolutely right, Terry. But in football, 2016, this little thing about the kneeling and the anthem, I don't mind talking about it. I kind of got away from it because it got kind of old. But now this VP, football operations, John Elway in Denver, had to start it all over again. And Colin Kaepernick is in the process of, I believe, filing a suit against the NFL for, if it was tough to get a job because he was protesting, he's being political, which I absolutely have zero problem with. You're allowed to protest. You're allowed to have political views no matter what sport you're playing or anything you want to do. And yes, Denver did offer Kaepernick. They tried to trade to get Kaepernick to come over to Denver before before all this protesting stuff started, but they wanted him to take a huge, large pay cut. And I said at the time, if you go back on the podcast side, I was all for him not to take a pay cut. The NFL pays players that are unproven, and they paid Andrew Luck, they paid Derek Carr, they've paid Matthew Stafford. Now this is all after, obviously, this whole Kaepernick thing happened. But if you look at Kaepernick's resume compared to Andrew Luck's resume, this guy been in the Super Bowl, NFC Championship game. This guy, his resume proved that yes, he was declining in play. Yes, he was digressing. He wasn't as good as he was. He was getting a little cocky, and it seemed like he lost his mojo. But the NFL is known for paying players that don't deserve to get paid. I mean, like I said, Andrew Luck, not worthy of that. Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr got this huge contract. They paid Brock Osweiler all this money to go to Houston. But they wanted him to take a pay cut because his play was good. Now I'm telling you right now, you look at the quarterbacks that are starting in the NFL, and Kaepernick could probably start over a lot of them. And to have a successful team in the NFL, you got to have a quality backup, a veteran backup. That's what I believe. And John Elway seemed to open up a whole new wound. He came out and he said, Colin had his chance here. We offered him a contract, he didn't take it. Which is true. But I am on Colin's side on this. I am on Kaepernick's side. Don't take a pay cut if you don't think you deserve it. If I'm at work for 5 years and I win employee of the month every month for the first 2 years, and then the last 2 years kind of drop off. I got a new manager. I've been moved to a new location. I have new employees. All kind of factor, because remember, it's a team effort. It's just not the Colin Kaepernick team. It's more of it's a team effort. So when Harbaugh was gone, they lost a lot of offensive players. Their offensive line was really shaky. Didn't have no wide receivers. So they're expected to lose. I have this whole theory on how people misconceive or get it wrong when they talk about greatest quarterbacks of all times, or how they say this player's better because he won championships. It's the most absurd thing to say, I feel. But Colin Kaepernick should not have took a pay cut, and he didn't. Now, yes, Denver tried to pay him. Yes, Denver tried to get him. But yes, he was better than Trevor Siemian. Yes, he's better than Brock Osweiler. Yes, he'd probably be a starter over there right now. Yes, he's probably better than Case Keenum. Case Keenum had a good season last year, but look at his resume compared to Colin Kaepernick's resume. doesn't even match up. So, but the problem is now for Kaepernick, not only is the political thing going on in the kneeling, which, like I said, I'm 100% behind him on. You could be political and you could have your opinions. I do a sports show all based on my opinions. I read some facts. Yeah, I print out some facts and I write some things down. You guys can't see, it's too bright and blurry, but yeah, I do that. But my show is based on all of my opinions and facts. That's what this country was built on. You know, we will be talking about this 20 years from now. I said that when this happened with Colin Kaepernick, that the protest, what he's doing, I should say, has started a movement. And I said this, we will be talking about this for years to come. Years ago. Now, the problem that others have, which they really, really need to clear up. Tell me why why was he kneeling? I bet you more than half can't even remember why. Oh, it's because he's against America. No, you're wrong. Oh, he's anti-American. He's not patriotic. No, you're wrong. Oh, he hates the military. No, you're wrong again. Oh, he disrespects the flag. No, he doesn't. You tell me why. And I bet you half of the people can't even tell me why he started kneeling or why they're continuing to kneel now. And I find it very ironic that he doesn't have a job in the NFL, but people like Ryan Fitzpatrick does, Brock Osweiler, obviously a horrible quarterback, does. These are quarterbacks, Brian Hoyer, who started for San Francisco last year, or the year before, I should say, who shouldn't have been the quarterback. And now he is going through a litigation and he's suing the NFL. It's going to make him getting a job in the NFL even harder. So people got to remember, one, what was the protest for? Get that established. Then you, if you're a smart person or have any common sense, you'll know the protesting wasn't about disrespecting the flag, wasn't being anti-American, non-patriotic. This patriotic thing, when people say, oh, he's not patriotic, blows my mind. I don't see anybody walking around draped with a flag over. When 9/11 happened, you could not see a car or a house without the American flag on it. Every car had an American flag on it. Every door had an American flag stuck on it. Every house had an American flag waving from it. 6 months later, you couldn't find a flag anywhere. What happened to being patriotic? You shouldn't be patriotic just because there's a tragedy. If you're patriotic, you should be patriotic all the time. So people got to remember why he protested in the first place. Remember, focus on why. Has nothing to do with the flag. Has nothing to do with that. And for John Elway to come out and say, yeah, we offered him a job, but now, yeah, you did, but you asked the guy to take a huge pay cut. And then you go and sign Brock Osweiler, who obviously is not as good as Colin Kaepernick. If you look at Colin Kaepernick's resume, comes in, begin the season, goes to the Super Bowl, lose full-time starting job, takes them to the NFC Championship. Then they go 8-8. Play digresses, yes. Then he really falls off the map. People just started hating on him. And here's another thing that people forget about this protesting thing was, it was a silent protest. He did not tell anybody. He protested on his own. He protested, he didn't even say anything. He just sat on the bench by himself for 2 to 3 games by himself. No one said nothing until a photographer or press guy took the picture. Then they asked him, and then they started steamrolling from there. Then it became, oh, that's why. Oh, anti-American. No. So John Elway came out and said, we offered him all this stuff. He could have a job if he wanted to. Yeah, he could have, but he would have taken a pay cut. Like I was saying, if I was an employee and all of a sudden my manager, who was a really good manager, leaves, moved me to a different, key parts of the team that I was on, stopped working for me or stopped working with me, and then my work started digressing, and all of a sudden they came to me and be like, we want to give you less money. I would have been, no, absolutely not. It is a team effort. How many players on an NFL roster team? And that's what gets me thinking about when I tell people you're absolutely wrong about Joe Montana being the best quarterback. And I'm from San Francisco. I am a huge 49er fan. Joe Montana is my favorite quarterback, but Joe Montana shouldn't even be in the conversation of the greatest quarterbacks. If you do, mention him about 15, maybe 12 or 15, because when people talk about the GOATs, this is where everyone gets it wrong. When they talk about the GOAT in sports, it's always championships. Always champion. Joe Montana, 4-0, never threw an interception, MVP. Yeah, yada, yada, yada. How do you think he got there? How do you think he threw? Remember, it was in a West Coast offense. West Coast offense, a lot of slant routes. You use your tight ends and you use your backs. All timing. He didn't have Jerry Rice the whole time, but he had Jerry Rice. How many times do you see in his career Joe Montana throw a 7-yard pass and Jerry Rice take it the other 90? And who got credit for that? Oh, Joe Montana. Now, I'm not saying Joe Montana was not a great quarterback, but what I'm talking about is the misconception of the GOAT. How people, and they forget that football is the biggest team sport. You have the quarterback is one player on one side of the ball, and he's only one of 11. One. There's 10 other guys. I don't care how great you think Joe Montana is, or Tom Brady, or Peyton Manning, or Drew Brees, any of those guys you think is GOAT. I don't care how great you think they are. He doesn't have those other really good 10 players. He's not doing very well. And on the defense side of the ball, he doesn't have another 11 good players, and he doesn't have a good coaching staff. Not winning nothing. People get this wrong conception of the GOAT. Oh, the GOAT is considered championship. No, it's a small percentage of it, but it's what numbers he puts up through his career. I can name off the top of my head how many quarterbacks I would take before Joe Montana. I would take Dan Marino, Peyton Manning, Warren Moon. These are quarterbacks that I would take over Montana. People, I see it all the time on social media, and all these sports groups that I'm in talk about how great Joe Montana is. Yeah, he's a good quarterback. But you just have a conversation with me. Let's debate and let's dispute it about why you think Joe Montana is a GOAT, and do not mention Super Bowls. Because it is a team effort. I've never seen anywhere in the record books where it says Joe Montana 4 times won the Super Bowl. No, I see San Francisco 49ers 4 times won a Super Bowl. Yes, it's the most important position on the football team. Yes, he's a leader. Yes, he controls the offense. Yeah, but, he's one player of 11 on one side of the ball. A lot of, and then the Jordan thing. Jordan is GOAT. He's the best. Have a conversation with me without mentioning 6 titles. LeBron's a better passer, better rebound. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's a better outside shooter. Oh, different era. Different era. Let's talk about different eras in football for a second here. Let's talk about different eras in football. People always talk about, Tom Brady couldn't play in the era of the 49ers. Yeah, it has gotten different. Yeah, the time to change, but it's all for better. It's all for safety. The analogy I always use is, I learned to drive in a 1979 Maverick. 3 on a tree, no seatbelt, no rear view detection cameras, none of that stuff. My son's learning how to drive in a 2017 Ford Focus. Rear view cameras, lane detection, it stops automatically, it beeps if you drift all this way, it parks itself. Now, does that make me a better driver than him? Does that make me, just because of the era I learned how to drive a car, does that make me a better driver? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Technology, life, sports, all evolve, and it's always for the better, and it's always for safety reasons. They don't put rear view cameras on the cars because it's cool. No, they put them on there because it's safer. They make the new rules in the NFL. They protect the quarterback. He's the most vulnerable player on the field. The guy can get blindsided, and with the CTE going on and the billions of dollars that the NFL has already lost, yes, they're going to make it safer. So don't give me this era stuff. Montana and Tom Brady era is different. Yeah, it is different, but doesn't make Montana better because he played in the era. And let me tell you guys this again. I'm a San Francisco 49er diehard fan. I love my 49ers. I talk 49ers. I go to 49er games. I travel all the way to Santa Clara. Horrible commute to get there. Driving, parking sucks. Traffic sucks. Taking a train and a tram to get there sucks. But I still go. I'm wearing my 49er hat right now. Got my 49er hat over here. And I'm telling you, Montana is not the GOAT. Anywhere near being the GOAT. I would take Brady, Breeze, Manning. I would take so many other quarterbacks other than him. Look at his stats. Google. If you just Google quarterback stats, don't put GOAT. Don't put the greatest of all times. Because Stephen A. Smith, all those guys, Skip Bayless, ESPN, Fox Sports 1, Sports Illustrated, all got it wrong. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're all wrong. I will argue and debate with them at any time. But you cannot say a quarterback's better because he plays in a different era or because he has more championships. No, because he was on better teams. He was on better teams. So, moving on. I want you guys to tweet at me at your boy Brian25. Follow me on Instagram at OST show. Oh wait, what's my? I forget my Instagram name. Your boy Brian OST. So let's get into some football. How much time do I got left? I know I restarted the Facebook page because I had technical difficulties, but I still got a lot of time. If you missed it, on the Facebook side, I talked about the A's, how they're absolutely destroying. Oh, no, not destroying it, but they're playing really, really good baseball. Surprised me. I know a lot of A's fans. I have friends that are A's fans. I was really surprised how good they were playing. They're one game out of first place behind Houston. They're actually tied for first place at one time. They beat Houston in a 2 out of 3 game series. They beat Verlander. They beat Dallas. I'm not going to try to say his last name. They are 5th in the AL in home runs. They're like 6th in the AL in ERA. Let's see. I got so many notes here. I'm losing my mind. 5th in the AL in home runs, 6th in ERA. They're 4th in the AL in shutouts. And the pitchers, the A's pitchers, they're 5th in the league in the opponent's batting average, being the lowest batting average. And I was like, wow, let's give it up to the Oakland A's for playing some good ball this year. I don't talk about the A's that much, mainly because they haven't been playing very, very good baseball, but they are. It's funny because I was starting to read a stat and I had the wrong one in front of me. On June 15th, the A's were 34-36, 11.5 games behind the A's. Here we are, August 20th, just over a month, over 2 months ago, I'm sorry, June, July, August, and the A's are now 1 game out of first place after being 11.5 out. Before June, their team ERA was 4.41. Now their ERA is 3.74. That was a stat I was trying to read earlier and I could not find. So I'm giving up to the A's. I'm not a big fan of that Billy Bean, or not the Moneyball Billy Bean does. It was a cool concept. It was fun. It was like kind of a good, new trick in the way they did it and happened to be winning at the time. But it's just, I'm just not a big fan of it. I just don't. I think the new way of baseball is homegrown. You start with your own. You draft. You have them in your farm system. You raise them up, single A, double A, triple A, get them to the majors, and they blossom from there. You get the integral parts that you need. You get a closer here. You get a reliever here. You get a free agent trade. You get the matching pieces to fit the puzzle, and that's how it is. Man, I can't believe I had all that technical difficulties, but I'm back. What's up, Egan? How you doing, buddy? So football season's here. I love football. Football, like I said, is more interesting. It's my favorite time of the year. I love basketball. I love baseball, but basketball is my second favorite sport. But football, you have a bad game in the playoffs, you're done. If you look at the 2007 Patriots, undefeated, they absolutely smashed everybody all year long, but they had one bad game, one lucky catch, and they lost the Super Bowl. And it's a team effort. Remember that team. No, Eli Manning, people say Eli Manning, he'll go to Hall of Fame just for beating Brady twice. No, the New York Giants beat Brady twice. And that was a lucky catch by David Terrell. What's his name, Terrell? Tyrese Terrell, whatever his name was. That was a lucky catch. He was in the grasp, he got away, Eli got away, and just flung it up there. And he just happened to pin it against his helmet. So it's a team effort. Team effort. But people always seem to forget this team when they talk about GOATs. You're not talking about tennis. Federer, yeah, he's a GOAT of tennis. Plays by himself. Tiger Woods, yes, he's the GOAT of golf. Plays by himself. You can say you can say the greatest of all time as a hitter, because when he's at the plate, he's by himself. He's the greatest hitter, greatest power hitter. That's fine. But to say he's the best baseball player because he won, Derek Jeter won all these World Series, does that make him better than Cal Ripken, Barry Larkin, the Ernie Banks, these great shortstops because he won these World Series? No. Even though he probably is better than all those guys. But you know what I'm saying? So, let's talk about some preseason football. Now, I think preseason should be done away with. I think if they're not going to get rid of it, they should only make 2 games and just extend training camp, extend practices, whatever they need to do. I know people always argue with me. It's like, no, they should have a preseason. That's how they get fit. Come on. Really? Jimmy Garoppolo and all these quarterbacks played, one set of downs, and that is getting reps in. They get more reps in at practice. They don't need preseason. The Minnesota Vikings have already lost The Minnesota Vikings have already lost 6 players to injury. Some of them season-ending. Why? Because of preseason football. I really think there should be no more preseason football. I think preseason football is for the TV ratings, just to make extra money. It's a way to, quote-unquote, practice or get the players ready. No, college doesn't have it. High school doesn't have it. And those are players that need more practice. We're talking about professional players. There's really no need. All you're doing in preseason is risking yourself, risking your team, risking your body. They let Tom Brady play almost a full half against the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't think they're making a statement by letting him play a full half against the team that beat him in the Super Bowl last year? No, they did it on purpose. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Robert Kraft, they did it on purpose. They did it. Hey, we lost against these guys in the Super Bowl. We gave up 45 points. Well, you should have played Malcolm Butler. I'm pretty sure you might have helped on that defensive side of the ball and not made Nick Foles look like an MVP that he was in the Super Bowl. But preseason football, there's no need for it. All you're doing is risking your players' health, injuries. It's all about the TV ratings. That's the only reason is, like I said, you don't see college players doing it where you think college players are not professional. They need more practice or more time to get ready for the season. Just extend the summer league. The training camp. And maybe have 2 games. And don't play your starters. If you're the Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo, Ezekiel Elliott, if you're J.J. Watt, if you're one of these marquee players and you know you're going to play, you're not going to get cut. You don't need to show off how better you were from last year at that time. Don't play them. Preseason games should be to see how these rookies possibly, these guys trying to make the team, these walk-ons, these players that probably won't even be playing again next year, those are the guys who should be playing preseason football. Not your Matthew Stafford. Not your Adrian Peterson. Not your franchise quarterback, Tom Brady, Carson Wentz. These guys shouldn't be playing preseason. I think preseason football is all about the ratings. That's all it's about. There's no need for preseason football. All you do is risk an injury. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, y'all? Tweet at me at your boy Brian 25. Follow me there. Follow me on Instagram at your boy Brian OST. Football season here, like I said. I just had to do a little rant about this preseason thing. I think the preseason is ridiculous. I don't think it's needed. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's just a way to get more money in the pockets. If they didn't play in the SEC, then this is a moot. Moot? Rise up. I feel you on that, Nathan. So I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna give my predictions 2 games into preseason football already. I know it's crazy. I know it's insane. I'll probably flip-flop and be wishy-washy and change my picks over the time. But like I said, you never know anyway because it's going to change over time. Players are going to get hurt and all season long. And let me say this, that I will pay a cable bill to hear idiots say dumb shit. Is that a shot at me? I don't know. Is that a shot at me? I don't know. But yeah, preseason football not needed in NFL. But I will give you my predictions. It's early in the season. I'll tell you who's going to do good, who's going to do bad. I'll give you a whole rundown of the teams that I think that are going to shock people and teams that will shock people in playing good and shock people by playing bad. I don't know if that's a shot at me. Is that a shot at me, Nathan? I will pass it. I will pass. I will pay a cable bill to hear idiots say dumb shit. I hate swearing. I didn't mean to say that word. But anyway, here's how I see the AFC break it down. Obviously, the Pats. Now, the problem I have with the Pats is they have no backup. They have no backup plan right now. Brian Hoyer is their backup quarterback. They got rid of Jacoby Brissett. They got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. I feel like the Pats are... They are an injury away from being one of the worst teams in the NFL. I don't know about worst teams, but not being a playoff team. There's no other strong teams in the division. Miami Dolphins are probably the only team to have more than 7 wins in that division. The Bills are still rebuilding. Josh Allen, I think, is going to be really good. The Jets with Sam Darnold is going to be good, but that's not for a few more years. It's just... If Tom Brady, at over 40 years old, playing the quarterback position, gets hurt, where does that leave the Patriots? But let's say he stays healthy all year long. Let's say he stays healthy. They will win the division, the East, easily. The Steelers really don't have any competition in the North. Cleveland's still eons away from being good. They'll be better. I think they'll win 5 games this year. The not Jacksonville, the Ravens, I'm not a big Joe Flacco fan. I think he's overrated, overpaid, like I was talking about overpaid quarterbacks earlier. I don't think they're going to be in competition. I think their defense is good. Terrell Suggs anchoring that defense, but they're still a little behind, I would say, on the offense side of the ball. When you have Tom Brady, a master of the offense, and Bill Belichick, who's really, really smart head coach, and you got Robert Kraft, who's a great, smart owner, I should say. It's I just don't see anybody beating the Steelers in that division. They got Big Ben over there, Antonio Brown. They got a really solid defense. So I see the Steelers winning the North. Now, I see the Jacksonville Jaguars winning the South. I think the Jaguars are going to be my surprise. Well, I have two surprise teams in the AFC, I would say. And I think that, yeah, they played good last year. Yeah, they made the playoffs. But I think Jacksonville's defense, that back seven, is solid and very strong. Telvin Smith at the linebacker and Jalen Ramsey at DB. They signed a new offensive line that guard Aaron Noel, which they already had an offensive line. But it's all going to depend on Blake Bortles' play. Blake Bortles has to finally step up and play some solid football. But I still see Jacksonville winning the South. Now, I'll talk more about I think the Jaguars will be in the AFC Championship game against either New England or Pittsburgh. It makes me very weary when you don't have a backup plan, and that's what they don't have in New England. They don't have anybody heir to the Tom Brady. They don't have Tom Brady heir apparent yet. So the other team that's going to really shock a lot of people, well, I don't know if they'll shock people, but be ready for, and that's going to be the San Diego Chargers. I think the San Diego Chargers are going to be a very good year. I think Phillip Rivers is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Look at his numbers. The guy is solid. This is the point I'm making about there's raw talent, and then there's being in the right environment, having the right system around you. Alex Smith, right system, right quarterback, doesn't have a lot of raw talent. Phillip Rivers, put him on bad teams. He plays well. Yeah, his team loses. Also proves my point, or goes back to my point of team effort. It's a team effort. You have this Hall of Fame quarterback in Phillip Rivers who plays really good every year, puts up good numbers, but they just can't win because it's a team effort. It's a team effort. It's a team. I want to implement that in your guys' mind, that it's a team effort, and you cannot. I don't want to go back to the GOAT thing, but I think the Chargers and the Jaguars are two teams this year that will be new in the playoff hunt. I know Jacksonville was there last year, but I just think they're getting better. They got better this year. I think the Chargers got a lot better, especially on the wide receiver position and the defense side of the ball. Joey Bosa is going to his more experience. I just think those are the two surprise teams. Now, the letdown team, I think, is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, still too young. Their defense has been lacking. They're very known for their defense, but they've been lacking on the defense side of the ball in Kansas City. They'll win games in Arrowhead, but they'll be very tough to win games on the road. Patrick Mahomes, very good, talented quarterback. I think this guy's going to be a great quarterback coming up, but he's still too young. He needs time to play. Now, we know Andy Reid has that ability to increase the quarterback's play. He has done that in the past, but I think the Kansas City will not win that many games. They'll win over 8 games, 8-8, maybe 9-7. They can sneak a win out on the road. I haven't looked at the strength of the schedule yet, but that's my AFC pick. I think wild card teams will be Texans, who leaning on Deshaun Watson's play, and I think the Titans. If Marcus Mariota could play like he did last year in the first half and not the second half, they'll be a team. But I see the Jacksonville Jaguars winning the AFC this year. I'm going a long shot. Jacksonville Jaguars winning the AFC this year, beating Pittsburgh, maybe New England. The NFC. Let's roll over to NFC. I think the Eagles, again, will win the East. I know a lot of Cowboy fans, my boy Greg and Eric, they're all Cowboy fans. Good for you. Not everyone's perfect, but I just don't see the Cowboys making up much ground against the Eagles this year. I think they're going to have a tougher time because the Giants are a better team this year. The Eagles are a better team than they were last year. Carson Wentz is back. If he could play like he is MVP possible form that he had last year. So the Eagles will win that. Now, the North, I think the Packers, Aaron Rodgers is back. They gave him a little more weapons on the offense side of the ball. McCarthy knows what he's doing with Aaron Rodgers, a healthy Aaron Rodgers. So I think Lambeau Field and Aaron Rodgers will be back on the top of the NFC North. The NFC South, everyone has the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not about the Atlanta Falcons this year. I think the Falcons will make the playoffs. I think the Falcons will get a wild card spot, but I think the Saints. I think the Saints this year are going to surprise a lot of people. Drew Brees, easy, hands down, Hall of Fame. Probably my top seven quarterbacks of all times. Check the numbers before you get all mad. Check the numbers before you say anything. I think they improved on the defense side of the ball. They went and got a deep threat for Drew Brees. I think that will be the team that will beat the NFC, win the AFC South by edging out the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the NFC West, I wish it was San Francisco, but I just don't think they're ready. I'm a San Francisco fan, like I said, 49ers all day long, 49ers here, 49ers here. I just don't see them quite ready yet. They have the wheels in motion. I think they could, but their schedule is not. They don't have a favorable schedule this year. The 49ers. In the beginning of the season, the 49ers should get on a roll and they should win. I think they'll win maybe 9, 10 games, but it's all about the Rams. The Rams, Jared Goff, Sean McVay, that team, that offense, Todd Gurley really shined again last year. They have really improved on that offense side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball by getting Dominic Sue. Even though Dominic Sue is one of the most dirtiest players in the NFL, I believe. I just think that it's the Rams division this year. So I got the Rams in the West, Eagles in the East, Packers in the North, Saints in the West. Wild card would be the Falcons. Now, the other wild card, like I said, it could be a toss-up. It could be the 49ers. It could be Dallas. It could be Carolina. Those are the three teams I think in the NFC could make the playoffs by wild card. The team that everyone's probably wondering why I'm not talking about, and that's the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to have a tough time this year. If you see, to be successful, like I said earlier, you need all the right parts, all the right puzzle pieces. Everything needs to fit in line. You need to get momentum, chemistry, the schedule needs to be in your front. And those are all things that Minnesota had last year. This year, they got a new offensive coordinator. Last year, no injuries. Everybody was healthy all season long on the defense side of the ball. This year, like I said earlier, they already got 6 injuries. 4 of them on defense. So they're already losing players. The schedule last year for them, no Aaron Rodgers, pretty much an easy division. Lions, Matthew Stafford, they don't know wide receiver, no running game. Offensive line was shaky. So that division was now Aaron Rodgers back. Green Bay will win that division, I think, with a new offensive coordinator, Aaron Rodgers being back, the schedule not being as easy as it was for them, the injuries that they're going to have, that they're already having. I just see them being the disappointment team of the year this year. Thank you guys for listening and watching Debate, Dispute, Controversy with your boy Brian. Tweet at me, your boy Brian25. Follow me on Instagram at your boy Brian OST Show. Video is only 42 minutes. Had to cut it short because I had a little technical difficulties, but we're all good. Thank you guys for watching. The podcast is on iHeartRadio, of course. We're on Apple Podcasts, any podcasting app. Like if you download Podbean, we're there. But now, great news, we're on Spotify. If you have Spotify, just click on shows, and then click on in the search, type in Opinion Sports Talk Show. You'll find us there. Thank you guys for listening. I'll be back next week. Let me go to the podcast sign and end it here too. Bam.